In most parts of the world, privacy is a basic human need. But there's this one village tucked away in a corner of the earth where surviving means completely forgetting what privacy even means. Houses are stacked one after another on steep limestone hills that slope almost 60 degrees. Your neighbor's roof basically becomes the path you walk on. Welcome to Palangan Village, a remarkable place built right into a deep crack in the Earth's surface, where gravity seems to pull you down at every step. It's like the land is being pulled to one side. Hidden at the edge of the ancient Hormuz region, deep inside Iran's Kurdistan province, lies this village. Nature here isn't smooth or calm. It's like the earth itself suddenly cracked open, ripped apart, revealing its bare chest right in the middle of a deep chasm where the village was built. Palangan sits about 1,020 meters above sea level, but what really stands out isn't the height, it's the terrifying, steep slope that turns the whole area into a giant funnel. Ancient human history tells us that people usually settled on high ground. For safety and to spot danger from afar, the people of Palangan have rejected the usual rules. They've come down from the mountain peaks into the depths of the Tungavar Valley. At first glance, this might seem like a big strategic mistake, but actually, it's a conscious choice. They gave up the safety of the skies and deliberately chose the life-giving river. Here, the mountains don't surround the village, they almost squeeze it tight. On both sides, there are huge, reddish-brown limestone walls. These stones, marked by time, stand as symbols of unstoppable strength. The houses are built right against the steep slopes in such a way. Gravity here isn't just some natural rule. It's a quiet challenge every single day. When heavy rain or a rock tumbles down from above, it doesn't just hit the ground. It smashes through one roof after another, rushing down to the houses below. Even a small crack up top can bring big trouble to many families living below. Living on this steep slope takes a serious toll on the body. Every bit of firewood, every bag of food has to be carried up these steep stairs, leaving knees worn out and breaths heavy along these narrow mountain paths. The place is so narrow that even when two people try to pass each other, they have to be careful. These people seem to carry the burden of daily survival all on their own shoulders. Yet generation after generation, they've stayed right here. It's like they've carved their lives into the mountainside itself. They've cut the stone to make small, flat spots where houses have been built. Most of the back walls of these houses are actually just the natural rocky mountain face. In spring, water drips down from those rocks. In winter, that water spreads a freezing cold chill. And the front part of the house feels like an uncertain balcony hanging over the edge. They keep their eyes on the depth. There's no flat land here, no room to spread out. Every inch of space had to be earned through hard work. They gave up the comfort of flatlands and chose the constant sound of the river flowing below. And with that choice, they tied their life to a force that can change everything in an instant. People here don't just live on the mountains, they cling to them to survive. The roar of the water never stops. Before the first light of dawn hits your eyes, you already hear that sound in your ears. And at the end of the day, it stays with you all the way. The Tungavar River rushes right at the bottom of a narrow, steep valley. It's not a calm, gentle flow, but more like a fierce force tearing through rocks. Living alongside such a powerful current means you're always under some kind of invisible pressure. The dark-colored water moves fast and heavy. One wrong step on the rocks below, and you're suddenly on an uncertain journey, being pulled toward the rapidly descending cold stream. Here, even a moment's carelessness or fatigue isn't allowed. The river drags everything along only by its own rules. But that's only half the story. The mountains. It's like the source of a flowing stream itself. Suddenly, a spring bursts out, breaking through the hard limestone rocks. And the water doesn't follow any set path. It flows straight through the village, over rooftops, brushing against verandas. Sometimes people even have to step over the flowing water to get into their own homes. This constant stream sets the rhythm for their daily work. Women sit for hours on the hard, wet stones, dipping their hands in the icy cold water. They clean thick woolen cloth in heavy cooking pots. The vessel. Slowly, the feeling in the fingers fades away. The cold air makes the skin rough. Yet every morning they endure this pain, because this uncontrolled stream is their only refuge. What looks chaotic and messy from outside is actually a perfectly organized system for survival. Here it's not just shelter, it's a whole way of life. This cold, fast-flowing water creates a unique environment where rainbow trout can easily thrive. In the small concrete ponds dangerously built in the valley's edge, these fish, they farm the land. The men carry heavy nets and buckets of food, trudging up and down the uneven, crumbling slopes. Their knees get banged, and their shoulders grow heavy with fatigue, but still they conquer that steep hill and keep up with their daily work. Then a fire is lit, thick smoke slowly rising. The place fills with the burnt smell of walnut wood from Sarugiri Kadab, a deep, earthy scent that lingers on. Freshly caught fish are split open and pressed onto a hot iron grill, the dripping fat hitting the red flames with a sizzling sound. It's not just cooking, but a tough process of fighting against harsh conditions to gather the needed energy. They use the steep rocks to hold the heat of the fire, and they've chosen the roaring river itself as their source of livelihood. The endless sound of the Tungabari River is like the heartbeat of the bed. In this valley, behind every meal lies someone's hard work, someone's risk. There's only one way to cross that cold current, a narrow iron bridge hanging between two huge limestone walls. A strong wind rushes through the narrow gorge. The cold water from below rises up and instantly touches the faces of passers-by. There's no other way around here. If ever a rock slide damages this bridge, the whole valley would be split in two in no time. They'd be cut off from each other. Every bit of food for winter, every essential thing reaches the village only by crossing this one bridge. Heavy sacks filled with flour, bundles of firewood, everything depends on this narrow path. Even newborn babies wrapped in warm clothes rely on it for their survival. The people setting off on their final journey all take this bridge. The men, with hands stiff from the cold, grip the iron railing as they move forward. They slowly pull the loaded donkeys across the wet floor. The sharp sound of hooves on the iron plates echoes, hitting the gorge's walls. It blends with an unseen roaring noise. From the outside, it might just look like an ordinary bridge, but it's actually the backbone of this village. This bridge doesn't just connect two stone walls, it connects. There are two steep settlements where people spend their whole lives just staring at each other. From the earthen roofs on the eastern slope, hundreds of eyes can directly see the open doors of the houses on the western side. Here, the geography traps people in a deeply divided life. Someone's drawing water, someone's coughing. It's all clear to each other. There's no way to hide. And crossing this bridge isn't easy either. In spring, when the snow melts and the river's current gets stronger, the bridge starts to shake. That vibration travels right through the bodies of people carrying heavy loads. 1. A wrong step doesn't just mean losing balance, it could mean losing a whole month's worth of food supplies. That's why they never rush. Every step is slow, steady, and careful. The donkeys carry heavy loads, their skinny legs tremble under the strain. This one single bridge seems to set the whole rhythm of village life. All the weight, all the responsibility ends up on this cold iron path hanging over the dark water below. In the village, the sun shines fiercely across the valley. The reddish limestone walls feel like one huge furnace radiating heat. Exploitation spreads inside the homes. At that time, the valley seems to hold its breath. Here, people don't measure time by the clock's tick, but by watching the shadows move along the steep mountainside. The sun's position decides their working hours. They carry heavy water-filled pots or drag stones only when the shadow from the western mountain falls directly over their houses. Working in the sun tires their bodies instantly, so their lives follow the rhythm of the shadows. Then the seasons suddenly change. From intense heat to the harsh touch of winter, the temperature shifts. It drops way below freezing, and the cold wind blows through narrow mountain passes, making everything around even harsher. The river's moisture freezes on the stone walls. But the biggest winter challenge here isn't just the cold, it's the thick layer of snow and ice. The flat roofs, which are the only paths in this village, get covered with heavy snow. From the outside, it might look calm and beautiful, but in reality, it makes everyday movement uncertain. When the ice hardens, even going out in the morning to fetch firewood becomes a real test. One slip doesn't just mean falling, it's much more than that. There's a chance of slipping and falling in the courtyard below, so people move carefully and slowly. Through the thick fog, they head out every day with simple wooden hose in hand, making the path of daily life passable again. They have to quickly clear away the heavy, wet snow. If they delay even a little, the extra weight of the ice can put pressure on the wooden beams of the house, which could easily break. So bit by bit, they remove the ice. Standing on slippery edges, they have to watch their step carefully. Cold cracks their hands. Holding on tight, the wood piles up. Inside these cold stone walls, life comes down to the bare essentials. To escape the biting cold, dried animal dung is burned on a small iron stove. Thick smoke fills the room. It stings the eyes and makes breathing hard. Still, that's what keeps them warm. It protects them from the freezing cold. Down in the valley, the Tangabar River swells with melting snow. The strong current slowly rises and covers the paths below. For weeks now, the village feels cut off from the outside world. They get cut off. Then they take shelter inside their clay-walled homes and listen to the roaring water crashing against the foundation of their house. They don't fight nature. Instead, they patiently endure it. Surviving this harsh cold and tough terrain takes a huge amount of strength. Every step feels like a battle against gravity. To get from the river below up to the house above, you have to climb hundreds of uneven stone steps. Feet get tired. Your heartbeat pounds hard inside your chest. The cold mountain air steals your warmth. It soaks in instantly. To survive this tough way of life, their food has to be different too, packed with dense energy. Although it looks like a simple kind of flatbread, hidden inside it is the secret to survival. It's called kalan. The process of making this food starts long before the fire is even lit. The village women get up and head to the open slopes of the hills, where even setting foot is tricky. Balancing carefully on loose rocks in the strong wind, they pick wild greens from the soil. Their hands turn stained with the rough green juice. They don't just choose these plants for their taste. The strength and nutrients of the mountain soil stay locked inside. Then, in a dark stone kitchen, the next step begins. Sitting on the cold, earthen floor, they roll out the dough thin. Inside, they stuff chopped greens. Then they carefully fry it. Next comes the heat of the fire. The flat, round iron griddle, blackened with use, is placed directly over the flames, and the bread is thrown onto it. The raw dough sizzles the moment it touches the hot iron. In no time, it puffs up and gets a deep, charred color. But just bread and greens alone don't satisfy the needs of this tough life. No way. You need extra energy. That's why they use thick, yellow butter from the animals, spread generously over hot flatbread. The butter melts and soaks right into the bread, seeping into every layer. The whole house fills with the rich smell of butter and the strong scent of wild greens. This heavy, energy-packed food settles deep in the body. When someone hoists a heavy sack of grain onto their shoulders and looks ahead at the countless stone steps waiting, it's this food that gives them strength. Slowly and steadily, they move forward, leaving fatigue behind. Kalan here isn't just food. It's an essential energy source that helps people keep up with this tough, complicated life. The steep mountain range of Palangan doesn't just hold back heat and snow. It almost feels like it stops time too. Here, every day moves forward, carrying on the story from the past. In a country where most people follow Shia Islam, deep within that border lies this valley. The people bow their heads to their own rhythm, moving in a different flow. They're Kurdish Muslims who follow the Sunni faith. Generation after generation has lived here. These steep hills act like an invisible wall, blocking the changing cultural waves from the plains. From the outside, it looks like a harsh, closed-off place. But in reality, it's a strong, cultural fortress. The elders wash their hands, marked by time, in the icy waterfall, then quietly sit down on rough woolen mats. Their faith remains unshaken because this rugged land resists outside influences. Getting here isn't easy, and their voices sound like echoes of this very land. They don't call out to their neighbors across the roaring river in the state's official language. Instead, from deep within their hearts, they bring out the strong sounds of an ancient Orami dialect. It's not soft. It's born from the silent depths of the mountain valley and its echoes. Every word feels like the rough touch of limestone. Mothers teach this language to their children. Inside small homes filled with the warmth of a fire, while the cold wind keeps blowing outside, Sarugirikath feels like a massive treasure trove of sounds. It's what keeps these sounds alive, so the fast-changing modern world can't just wipe them out easily. The people who work hard every day, carrying the weight of life, have a different sense of identity. If you ask them where they belong, they don't point to any map. Instead, they show you the steep, rugged mountain ranges. They're the people of the Zagros Mountains. The invisible borders drawn by distant politics don't mean much to them, because what really matters is the sudden rush of falling rocks. Their life is shaped by harsh realities. A person's identity, or the name of their country, doesn't help when they have to climb steep slopes, carrying heavy loads. Their loyalty is to the rocks that hold up their homes, and to the water that keeps their children alive. Tough resilience seems woven into every nerve of theirs. They don't just live on this mountain, they've become a part of it. Even their clothes are a necessary part of this life. The men of the valley wear wide, flowing pants called runak. It's not some fancy decoration, but a practical solution made for tough realities. When someone has to climb uneven stone steps, stiff fabric holds them back. But this loose, soft cloth gives them complete freedom. They can bend easily, keep their balance, and walk comfortably along narrow paths. At the end of the day, when the sun slips behind the tall western hills, the day's hard work comes to a stop. From the earthen veranda, a deep, raw tune slowly drifts up, what they call hure. There's no forced rhythm here, no constraints. The way to keep it going on the outside is when someone pulls a tune from deep within their voice that carries all their life experiences. It's not really a song, but more like an expression of feeling that spreads through the cold night air. That voice echoing inside the canyon doesn't just fade away. It comes back as an echo, like the mountain itself is answering, acknowledging the presence of the person. The steep limestone walls have created a huge, natural echo chamber. The raw sound waves